Well, first of all, Mr. President, we don't work for you. I don't work for you. My job is to cover you, not fawn over you or rip you.
Fox News will always be remembered as the Titanic of news disasters.
Iceberg, right ahead!
Lying and obfuscating to their viewers about everything from stolen elections to it's nothing but the flu, relax. And along the way, there were some really good people, real journalists who just couldn't take it anymore. Mike Wallace, Shepard Smith, and now Neil Cavuto. Cavuto has seen it all, from the early days when Fox had some integrity to the gritty end, where a network is willingly lying to its viewers. But Neil Cavuto is one of the few that pushed back, especially when the guest was this insane.
I'm just wondering how you think that will resonate with women when she is called nasty and crazy and a ding dong and all and disrespectful between you and the president, what has been said about her. I'm just wondering, do you worry how that comes across? And maybe you draw no distinction between a female candidate and a male, and that's fair game, but that this could hurt you with female voters with these type of comments.
Well, let me say it again.
Sure.
The vice president is a candidate for president of the United States. I don't care about her gender. Neil, maybe you do, but I don't. I don't care about her race. I care about her
Then
competence.
why call her a ding-dong?
And I'm telling you what the polling shows. I'm telling you what the polling shows. And it does. And I'll be glad to sit down with you and walk you through the polls.
Please do, because I never know when it's constructed to call people names.
But more to that point, you can count on one hand the times Fox News on-air talent stood up to a Republican or Trump.
But that's just your suggestion. You don't actually have any facts.
That's Steve Ducey. And here's Cavuto pushing back on Tiny Fingers.
No, I'm not happy with Fox.
All right, well, I think the president watches Fox. I also think he is getting sick of Fox, which is weird because I think he gets pretty fair coverage at Fox. But the president making clear to fact check him is to be all but dead to him, and his legion of supporters who let me know in no uncertain terms I am either with him totally or I am a never Trumper fully. There are no grays, no middle ground. You're either all in or you're just out. Loyal on everything or not to be trusted on anything. Which could explain the president himself this week bashing Fox News yet again, urging his supporters to stop watching the channel, to quote tweet, Fox isn't working for us anymore. Well, first of all, Mr. President, we don't work for you. I don't work for you. My job is to cover you, not fawn over you or rip you. Just report on you, to call balls and strikes on you. My job, Mr. President, our job here is to keep the scores, not settle scores. Now, in my case, to report the economic numbers when they're good and when they're bad, when the markets are soaring and when they're tumbling, when trade talks look like they're coming together and when they look like they're falling apart. It is called being fair and balanced, Mr. President, yet it is fair to say you're not a fan when that balance includes stuff you don't like to hear or facts you don't like to have questioned.
Cavuto's been critical of Trump, and that means he simply told the truth. He said, hey, the emperor's naked.
Iceberg, right ahead!
And while Cavuto's departure seems like the smart thing to do for him, it's also one less person with integrity to steer that ship.
Dominion operators went in and injected votes and changed the whole system. They run a computer algorithm on it as needed to either flip votes, take votes out, or alter the votes to make a candidate win. It has been used all over the world to defy the will of people who wanted freedom. There is statistical evidence, there is all kinds of mathematical evidence, essentially forensic evidence. Dominion and its minions and other state officials everywhere are apparently out there trying to destroy everything they can get to before we can seize it. They had this all planned, Maria. It is one huge criminal conspiracy.
Fox News, however, isn't sinking, despite a nearly $1 billion settlement for knowingly spreading lies about the 2020 election.
Good evening. Fox blinked on the day that Fox attorneys and the attorneys for Dominion Voting Systems, the company that was suing them for defamation, were to make opening statements in their $1.6 billion lawsuit. Fox decided to settle. $787.5 million. That's how much the Fox Corporation will pay. It's half of what Dominion says they were seeking, but a historic amount nonetheless. The Fox Corporation clearly deciding it was better to pay the money than have their star anchors try to explain under oath the election denialism and disinformation they either spread themselves or help spread by giving others who are lying a platform night after night after night. In a statement after the settlement was announced, Fox said, and I quote, We acknowledge the court's rulings finding certain claims about Dominion to be false. This settlement reflects Fox's continued commitment to the highest journalistic standards. Now, I just want to repeat that. The first part of it said, we acknowledge the court's rulings finding certain claims about Dominion to be false. That might sound sort of maybe like an apology, but it's not. They acknowledge the court ruling doesn't really mean anything, and their description that certain claims about Dominion were false is vague at best. As for the second part of that statement, that this settlement reflects Fox's continued commitment to the highest journalistic standards, as Mike Wallace used to say when interviewing someone shoveling crap, come on.
Now Fox News, after that nearly $1 billion settlement, they're fine. They're still afloat while the country sinks. And they're still on the air. And they're still lying and making billions off these people.
Tell me about if Donald Trump does not win, what do you do?
I hope that I'm going to die.
Wait a minute. Why are you forcing your lifestyle over on me?
Who's forcing you to be gay?
Joe Biden and his crew.
Joe Biden's forcing you to be gay?
No, not forcing me. Make sure you get that right. I ain't gay and ain't got nothing to do with it, okay?
I believe in hate speech. When you have hate for somebody, I am 100% into speech.
Remember these clowns?
White supremacy, that's the problem. This is a hoax.
Tucker was fired for thinking he could tell his bosses to, well, you know. And Bill O'Reilly, he was fired after a $32 million sex harassment judgment that Fox knew about before they gave him the job.
The country's gonna burn.
And Megyn Kelly, she left Fox, not for ideological reasons. No, she was and still is a racist cow. She left for $100 million and went to NBC, where she continued her racism, and then they canned her.
So truly, you do get in trouble if you are a white person who puts on blackface on Halloween.
And that led to a bit of an outrage within NBC News and among the audience.
While she apologized to the staff, she owes a bigger apology to folks of color around the country.
Megyn Kelly is, of course, no stranger to controversial remarks about race. When she was at Fox News, Megyn Kelly made remarks that were often criticized for being insensitive towards blacks.
And by the way, for all you kids watching at home, Santa just is white, but this person is just arguing that maybe we should also have a black Santa.
Today on Fox, Tucker's replacement, well, let's just say that he fits right in.
And I heard the scientists say the other day that when a man votes for a woman, he actually transitions into a woman.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's what the science says.
Science says that.
That's Jesse Waters, their new little piglet, who went from a talk show moderator to a full-on mouth-breathing Trump worshiper. And it's weird.
And I am now going to book the Fulton County photographer for my Christmas card. Because, Judge, and I say this with a unblemished record of heterosexuality, he looks good. And he looks hard.
Now, come on, that is weird, right? But not out of the norm. The entire Fox experience is one of hate and untruths. They've given airtime to Trump like he owns the network and have allowed him to lie ad nauseum. And now Trump has plucked Pete Hegseth to be the next Secretary of Defense.
And this guy's personal life is a total disaster.
Hegseth, he's an alcoholic pig who settled with a woman so she wouldn't talk about a sex assault on her, and who cheated on his first two wives, and whose mother even trashed him.
I love my mommy.
Penelope Hegseth wrote, on behalf of all the women, and I know it's many, you have abused in some way, I say get some help and take an honest look at yourself.
So now Fox has no one other than Steve Doocy who will push back, and he does it so infrequently you have to dig for hours to find it.
With all due respect, the Republicans need better investigators because they've got a lot of circumstantial evidence, but they have not shown that Joe Biden profited personally or that he broke any rules.
But Fox just doesn't care. There are tens of millions of Americans who believe MAGA lies about anything that isn't on Fox or their two minor league teams, OAN and Newsmax. All three of them lied about a coup on our government. And they will lie about Trump's next move, arresting journalists, immigrants, and political opponents. It's what Fox does.
100% though. Who said Trump's not diplomatic? Because that was a pretty dumb question.
They used to call themselves fair and balanced. Does that look balanced?
Hell no.
Damn right.
I'm as mad as hell.
This is not a normal election.
Whether the women like it or not.
Suck my fat one.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
And this guy's personal life is a total disaster.
Trust me.
Shut the fuck up, Dan.
Who's with me? Oh, yeah, the lie.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.